I'm Sarah Thompson.
31 years old, living in Cheyenne, Wyoming, the heart of the American West where wide-open plains meet rugged mountains. And folks still value a firm handshake over fancy contracts. I'm a certified public accountant at Frontier Financial Advisors, the kind of place where we handle ranchers' taxes and oil lease royalties with equal precision. I've always been the steady one in my family, the fixer who shows up early with balanced books and a calm demeanor, even when storms brew on the horizon. But peace? That became my cage. When my mother called that family summit after I balked at handing over my grandfather's legacy, I braced for the guilt trip. What I didn't see coming was the full-on siege. And they sure as hell didn't anticipate me riding in with ironclad deeds, receipts from years of quiet betrayals, and a resolve forged in the fires of too many overlooked slights. Growing up as the baby of 3 on our family's modest spread outside Cheyenne meant learning to fade into the fence lines. My brother, Mike, at 38, was Mom's shining star, the rodeo hero turned perpetual drifter who could charm a snake but couldn't hold a job longer than a Wyoming winter. My sister, Emily, 7 years my senior, had perfected the art of selective blindness, especially after tying the knot with Dave, whose sarcastic jabs passed as wit in our circles, except to me. And then there was Mom, Laura Thompson, widow, queen of the guilt rodeo, and the unchallenged boss of our clan. She didn't need a lasso. Her size of letdown hit harder than any bull's kick. Blood is thicker than water, she'd preach. But what she really meant was Mike first, Emily a close second, and Sarah whenever the well ran dry. I'd shaped my life around being the reliable shadow, quiet Sarah, dependable Sarah, the one who'd nod along while her own dreams got trampled under boot heels. Numbers drew me to accounting. They're honest. No games.
No hidden agendas.
At work, I earned respect. Clients trusted my eagle eye on their ledgers. Colleagues sought my advice. And my boss hinted at partnership just last quarter. But back on the family ranch, I was still the kid scraping by on leftovers of approval. The cracks started showing in 2017. Mike rang me up, voice cracking like dry earth, begging for $4,000 to fix his leaky roof before the inspectors condemned his trailer. I wired it that night, picturing my niece and nephew dodging rain indoors. 3 weeks later, his Facebook lit up with pics of a shiny new truck stereo system. When I gently asked about payback, Mom called, her tone sharp as barbed wire. Sarah, don't be so stingy. He's got kids. What do you need it for? Another seminar? You're plenty sharp already. Maybe too sharp. I swallowed it. Kept the peace. Told myself $4,000 bought harmony. Then 2019 hit like a dust storm. Pulling my credit report for a mortgage pre-approval, I spotted a cosign loan for Emily's SUV, one I'd never laid eyes on, let alone signed for. Confrontation led to tears. Emily sobbed that Mom had sworn it'd be fine, that I'd want to help, that they'd mimicked my signature on the forms. 6 months in, payment stopped, leaving me on the hook for $7,200 to save my score. You're set up solid, Mom said over potluck supper. Like that justified it all. Emily and Dave are still getting their feet under them. They've been stumbling for over a decade. Still, I paid up. Still showed for holidays with homemade pies and 4 smiles, pretending my lines in the sand weren't washed away every visit. The pandemic unearthed the deepest wound. Sorting old files in my apartment, I found statements from my college savings, the fund Mom bragged about as my ticket out. Drained in 2010 for Mike's legal bills after a bar fight gone wrong. He needed it more. Mom shrugged when I pressed her. Casual as discussing cattle prices. You snag scholarships anyway. Worked out fine. Fine, because I'd pulled 60-hour weeks flipping burgers while acing classes, rationed canned soup to buy books, dug into debt that shadowed me for years. I went radio silent for 2 months. They sent envoys. Mike played the mom's aging card, forgetting he'd profited from the theft. Emily murmured. She means well, eyes skittering like scared colts. I caved for Thanksgiving 2022. Worst call ever. Mom plunked me at the kids' table, announcing to kinfolk that unhitched gals belong there. Cousins with rings and rugrats shot sympathetic glances. My niece and nephew quizzed if I was in timeout. In truth, yeah, for bucking the script, for crafting a solo life not tethered to family bailouts, for daring to draw boundaries. I slipped out early, blaming a deadline, and wept the whole drive home. Staring in the mirror that night, I vowed, no more humiliation. But how to hold that line? Fate answered when Grandpa passed. John Carter, Mom's dad, was the outlier, quiet observer like me. He kept distance due to Mom's barbs, but sought me out during rare visits. We'd jaw about books, stocks, his property empire. He'd bootstrapped from one dusty plot in the 70s to a spread of rentals across Wyoming's oil patches. Track the money trail. Sarah, he'd advise. Folks reveal their souls in spending, not speeches. I figured I was just his ear. Never dreamed I'd inherit the reins. The will reading on April 15th, 2023. Flipped the script. I got $85,000 cash and 52% control of his holdings. Mom snagged a pittance and heirlooms. Mike and Emily each pocketed $10,000. The attorney slipped me Grandpa's sealed note. You listen. You build. The others squander it quick. Forge something enduring. Sarah, and guard it fierce. Mom ambushed me in the lot. We gotta pool this in a family pot. Mike's rig payments are drowning him. I yanked free. Need time to chew on it. Her eyes turned to slits. Don't hog it all. This is kinfolk business. The barrage started immediately. Texts and calls hammered like hail on a tin roof. Mike bombarded with sob stories about his kids' needs, as if I hadn't already chipped in for their boots and school gear. Emily phoned in tears, claiming Mom's heartbreak was my fix-it job. Dave left voicemails preaching the honorable path. Mom swung between sob fests and veiled jabs about disowning me. For the first time, I ghosted them. Silence wasn't surrender, it was armor. Then the summons. Mom demanded a powwow at the Saddle Up Steakhouse, a ritzy joint where public scenes were taboo. The invite specified business casual and roped in not just us but in-laws. Uncle Robert, Mom's brother, usually a drama dodger, and even some family friends. Trap baited clear as day. I showed, anyway, in a crisp black pantsuit, hair in a neat ponytail, sporting the silver buckle Grandpa gifted for my degree. Punctual, not eager, my tiny mutiny. They'd claimed a private back room. Mom presiding at the head like a cattle baron. Mike and his wife Lisa flanked right. Emily and Dave left. Uncle Robert nursed a whiskey. Fidgety. Lisa's folks were there. Odd, and Mom's pal Susan, who had zero stake in our finances. My seat, dead end of the table. Power vacuum. About time, Mom drawled, though I was spot on. Let's commence. That's when the projector hummed to life. Screen glowing. Mike tinkered with his laptop. What's the setup? I asked evenly. A slideshow, Mike smirked, like schooling a greenhorn. Since you've dodged talks, we'll spell it out plain. Title slide, Why This Windfall's Ours to Share. My gut twisted. I sat stone still as he flipped through. Mike's truck loans, Emily's vet bills, she ran a small clinic. Mom's future medicals, despite her iron health. A gut punch slide flashed my niece and nephew with their dreams at stake. Joint calls fairer. Mom cooed post-show. Eyes like flint. You're complicating it needless, Emily chimed. Gaze averted. Dave leaned in. Cash ain't everything.
Sarah.
Blood ties are. My hands quivered watching them divvy my future, like auction livestock. Branding me selfish for not subsidizing Mike's latest flop. Uncle Robert coughed. This feel off base to anyone else? John willed it to Sarah deliberate-like. But out. Robert. Mom snarled. You ghosted Dad's last days. Lie, Robert had mentioned recent visits. Another mom rewrite. Sarah, Mike pressed. We got docs ready. Shifts it to a family trust mom overseas. Everyone gets square. Everyone but me, just pats on the back for sacrifice. I rose. Sarah, Mom's tone sharpened. No scenes. I scanned faces. Mom's bridled fury. Mike's smug entitlement. Emily's evasion. Dave's cocky grin. Even Lisa shifted uneasy, but stayed mum. Temptation flickered, sign and bask in approval. Be the saintly sister. But self-loathing would follow eternal. No, I stated flat. Pardon, Mike gaped.
No signing.
I grabbed my bag. Sarah Jane Thompson. Mom barked my full handle.
Old school warning. I didn't fold.
Walked out amid protests. Collapsing in my truck with sobs that racked my frame. Knuckles white on the wheel. Tears dried. Steel set in. That eve, I pored over Grandpa's packet. Beyond cash, controlling stake in 5 rentals, ranches and oil worker housing netting $48,000 yearly. Mom had omitted that nugget. My side gig? Advising young buckaroos on property flips. I'd amassed my own holdings. Knew Grandpa's gift was bedrock wealth. Not quick cash. Family wanted it for Mike's debts? No more. Next on. I dialed Prairie Law Group. Estate pros. Protecting inheritance from kin, I told the clerk.
Met Evelyn Prairie.
Sharp 60s gal with salt and pepper hair and no-nonsense specs. She nodded through my tail. Common as sagebrush.
Hun.
Responsible ones turn into family banks. Spot on, I confessed. But I'm done. Atta girl. Strategy time. Over weeks, we locked properties in an ironclad trust. Switched managers to an outfit beyond family reach. New phone. Business email. Took a breather vacation. Citing estate duties. Old line buzzed nonstop. I archived the escalating pleas, evidence of their siege. Mom's gems. Think family. Not selfish. Sarah. Grandpa'd roll in his grave after our sacrifices. Mike. Hand it over to needy folk.
Us.
Lisa might job hunt if we lose the spread. Kids weaponized. Why Aunt Sarah hate us? Emily from soft call mom to why so contrary? Always the oddball. Uncle Robert texted once. Back you whatever. Exploitation's overdue end. Sparked my plan. Met him at a dusty diner off the interstate. He looked wary but spoke true. Wanted to warn you years on Laura's ways. Why hold back? She isolates dissenters. Post-Dad's death. I called favoritism. She threatened kid access. Played her game to stay near y'all. Grandpa confided pre-death worries on Laura's manipulations. Mike's grabs. Rewrote will months prior. You were slated less till he saw your grit. Tracked your awards. Proud you bootstrapped sans handouts. Tears pricked. Grandpa's quiet vigil meant the world. One more. Laura's whispering you're cracking under stress. Priming to contest competency. Rage clarified. Explains the steakhouse extras witnesses. Robert nodded.
Yup.
Time for your roundup. Where truth ropes them. The yearly Independence Day hoedown at Mike's spread in Laramie County was sacred. Kin, neighbors, pals under fireworks and stars. Normally, I'd don arrive to string lights, in jeans and eager grin. Not now. I donned a tailored red blouse and slacks for client meets, low heels, fresh makeup, hair trimmed to chin-length waves, ditching my plain ponytail. Symbols of shift. Rolled up 2 hours late. Party peaking. Striding through the gate. Chatter hushed. Eyes swiveled. Mom. Queen by the smoker. Squinted. Sarah. Figured you bailed. Said I'd come. I replied smooth. Approaching. Just rap biz. Mike materialized protective. What's the getup? Casual day. I smiled. From a meeting. Holiday. Emily queried. Plate in hand. Real estate don't pause for flags, I said. Eyeing Mom's flicker. She hadn't clocked my property savvy. Plunked my leather binder down. Since transparency's vogue. Brought proof. Pulled trust copies. Handed to Mom. Mike. Emily.
Kept one.
Did it public. Uncle Robert. Neighbors. Cousins as audience. Flipping Mom's witness ploy. What's this? Mom snapped. Unopened. Grandpa's rental deeds, 5 spots netting near 50 grand yearly. One skipped in your grab pitch. Whispers rippled. Susan murmured to Mom. Wrong venue, Mom hissed. Thought money talks were your jam, I countered. Lease now. Full disclosure. Mike scanned, fuming. This trust? You can't.
Did.
Grandpa vested me control. Locks am safe from forced sales or loans, except mine. No right. Mom erupted. Robert cut in. Read it loud.
Mike.
Let folks hear Sarah's play. Mike glowered but obliged. Voice rising at no loan clauses for kin but me. Slammed it. Your poison. After our givings. What givings? Mike. I ask soft. That $4,000 roof fix, turn stereo? Or college fund drained for your bar brawl? Gasps echoed. Mom blanched. Hush. Nah, I pressed. Years as y'all spail out. Kids' table at feasts cause single. Forged sig on Emily's ride. Emily wailed. Not here. Where then? Another ambush? With plans to swear my breakdown? Locked eyes with Mom. Robert spilled her yarns. Mom venom glare Robert. Traitor.
Not.
Just manipulation weary. Like Sarah. Whipped out phone. Text queued. Tried shaming my claim. Kept these instead. Read samples. Mike's give to needers. Us. A neighbor filmed. Perfect. Let pixels preserve. Ain't what Dad intended. Mom deflated. Family care. Legacy guard. I corrected. From wasters, his words. Tapped paper. Trust steward smart. Reinvests. No siphons for Mike's messes. About time, Robert boomed. Mike advanced menacing. Your family outcast now. Surveyed faces. Shock. Squirms. Hidden glee at Thompson drama eruption. Nah.
Mike.
Cut from leeching. Big diff. Turned.
Paused. Mom.
Swap emergency contacts. I'm off duty. Exited tall. Ignoring Emily's sobs. Mom's spin attempts on my fragility. Robert caught me at the truck. Masterful.
John de Beam.
Thanks for intel. Key to saddle up. He nodded. Next. Build enduring. I echoed Grandpa. His wish. Fallout rolled predictable, yet satisfying. Mom lawyered up against the trust. Evelyn's fortress held. Mike shed handyman gigs post-viral clip. Quiet sis unleashes legal lasso at barbecue. Dave's feed store partner backed off hearing forgery. Fraud spooks partners. Went full no contact with mom. Mike.
Dave.
Emily texted swings. Blame to sorries. Held firm. Some ties shatter under truth's weight. Robert and I bonded. He linked me to contacts. Sold a minor holding via Evelyn. Plowed $130,000 into Thompson financial independence. My firm aiding women in claiming fiscal reins, especially in ranch country where inheritance tangles like tumbleweeds. But as months passed, cracks in my armor showed. Isolation stung. Holidays loomed empty. A client's tale of mended family fences after boundaries echoed. Grandpa's note resurfaced. Build lasting, not just walls. Maybe revenge's thrill faded, leaving room for grace. One crisp fall evening, as golden leaves swirled like confetti on the Wyoming winds, Emily showed up unannounced at my new office in downtown Cheyenne. She looked worn, like a horse ridden too hard, eyes puffy, shoulders slumped under her denim jacket. I buzzed her in, heart pounding a mix of wariness and unexpected ache. "Can we talk?" she asked, voice cracking like autumn ice. I nodded, leading her to the conference room with its views of the plains stretching endless.
No accusations.
Just coffee and quiet. She started halting, apologizing for the forgery, the ambushes. Mom pushed, but I let her. Scared of rocking the boat. Tears fell. Miss my sister. I listened, really listened. For the first time seeing her not as an enabler, but trapped in mom's web. Like me once. "I forgive you," I said finally, surprising us both. But boundaries stay. No more bailouts. We hugged. Tentative bridges forming over old chasms. Mike was tougher. Winter brought news via Robert. His spread faced foreclosure after another job flop. Pride kept him silent, but kids suffered. I wrestled nights, revenge or humanity. Grandpa's wisdom won. Help smart, not enable. Through the trust, I anonymously funded a job training program for vets like Mike. He'd served briefly. He enrolled, unknowing, and turned a corner, landing steady ranch handwork. When he learned the source months later, a gruff call came. Didn't deserve it. But thanks. Working on me.
No goose.
But seeds of change. Mom, thorniest. Christmas neared, and Robert mediated a neutral meet at a coffee shop in Casper. Halfway point. No home turf advantage. She arrived brittle, lips thin as fence wire. "You humiliated us," she opened. I held steady. "You exploited me." Time we own truths. Hours unfolded. Tears. Shouts. Silences. She confessed Dad's death had scared her into clinging tight, favoring Mike as the vulnerable one, sidelining me as the strong. Didn't see I broke you too. I shared my pain. The invisible scars. Not full absolution, but understanding dawned. We parted with a hug, agreeing to therapy family sessions, paid for my firm's pro bono fund. Slow mends,
But men's.
by spring, dynamics shifted. Easter at Robert's neutral ground, no ambushes, just shared meals. Mike repaid that old $4,000 in installments, his idea.
Émilie consultait mon clinique finance.
Paying fair rates. Mom, softer edges. Praising my firm in calls. No full fairy tale, but real, flawed folks learning. My life bloomed. Thompson Financial grew, hiring 2 associates. I bought a small ranchette outside town. Place for roots without ropes. Dating a kind geologist. No drama, And the trust?
Thrived.
Funding community scholarships for Western kids like young me, Grandpa's legacy living. Looking back, that barbecue wasn't just confrontation, it sparked evolution. I reclaimed voice, but forgiveness reclaimed family. Lesson? Boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. Open wisely, and healing flows. As summer rolled in again, with Wyoming skies vast and blue as promise, I reflected on the year's whirlwind. The inheritance that could have torn us asunder became the forge for stronger bonds. Mike hosted the fourth this time, but with changes, invites stressed no business. Just barbecue. I arrived on time, in jeans and boots, my choice, not armor.
Laukatavang genuine.
Kids chasing fireflies as dusk fell. Mom pulled me aside by the smoker, eyes misty. Proud of you,
Sarah.
for standing tall and reaching back. I squeezed her hand. We all needed the shakeup. Uncle Robert grinned over his plate, John smiling down. You built lasting. All right, family included. Emily confided she'd started therapy solo, untangling mom's strings. Even Dave toned the sarcasm, offering a sincere, glad you're here. My firm hit milestones, first big grant to a single mom rancher. Echoing my path. Clients shared stories of empowerment, rippling Grandpa's wisdom outward. And me,
I'm Sarah Thompson.
31. Cheyenne Dweller, CEO of Thompson Financial Independence. Once the peacekeeper, at any cost. Now, the boundary setter with open heart. Families not obligations blank check, but love's careful stewardship. In the West's wild spaces, I learned, storms pass, but roots deepened by rain endure. That's the true inheritance, forged in fire, tempered in grace.